In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The Legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged-sized plague meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.
Good start.
Great start. There we go. I found the buttons. I'm gonna let someone else lead me in because I'm like still fumbling all over the place. Someone else take over, please save me.
I'll step in and stay in.
Go on then.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Discussing Resilient podcast. All three of us are here again this week, ready to talk everything from the sort of Damocles that's being discussed in different communities, our own communities, and even the chat tonight, to telling you about some games that we've recently played, and probably to talk about a little bit of WTC, as well as some other bits. So with that, I will introduce you both, Aidan Smalley, and we'll read. Guys, how are you both? Good to see you.
Go on, Will.
Yeah, good, thank
Somebody
you.
talk.
It's the heat, it's the heat, guys. I promise. We're not ticked on yet. We'll get there. Go on, Will.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Played a team something the weekend. Our team came third. In spite of me, I really dropped the ball in one of our games. We was talking about that there, about how Gene Stealer cult. I really let the side down, but luckily we still came third in spite of that. And the rest of the games went well. It was just that one. But yeah, it was really good. Played Black Templars. We'll talk about that. But I'm continuing to self-nerf my Death Guard list. I tried today with a list of 155 points down to see how that felt compared to 125 points. Just meant only 2 squads of Death Shroud, and that one did really feel different actually. But So, but it's also like, you know, we'll get to that in a minute. But how are you, Aidan? Have you been up to much or?
I've been running around like mad today, but I am okay. I forgot to. I completely forgot. This is what happens when you read about everywhere. I've obviously over the weekend had a little dabble at the old Votan rules. You know, the Votan book is coming out. So that's something. I will save that one for probably another night, or you know, maybe an entire discussion on it. Because we don't need an Aidan rant this early. So we'll move past that. Part that though, I've been.
I'll tell you what then, but let's have a quick one though. Hot take. So you think because someone on one of my mates plays it, so you're not a fan of the book then, or you think it's strong? Which way are you going on it?
I think a fucking elf wrote that book. That book was written by an elf. There's nothing dwarven about it. It's written by an elf. They took stats off toughness and upped movement. What is this? Oh, I'm stopping. I'm not going there.
By the way, it's not the Leagues of Votan book. It's not the Leagues of Votan book anymore. It's the Little People's book.
It is the Little People's book. Yeah, the Little People's.
That's what we're calling it now.
The Little People's book makes sense.
The Book of Little People.
But I will do probably a stream later on, because I don't know if there's anyone else that's interested, but it's the only army other than Death Guard that I'm semi-passionate about. So I would like to give my opinion on it. Now, obviously, my opinion for Votan doesn't carry much weight. I play him more as a fun faction on the side, but I obviously have feelings towards that book and whatnot, so we'll go there when we go there. But part of that, though, I passed my theory test last week. We did it for driving, so that's cool.
Driving theory, but
good job.
Driving theory, yes, driving theory.
They were talking about.
Yeah, I got one question wrong out of the 50, and they won't tell me which one it is, which is really upsetting me and annoying me. So that is a thing. So you know, great success. But part of that, in terms of like actual 40k in, I've obviously got an event in like 2 weeks, so I really need to get this Great Unclean one finished. I've just been staring at him for like a week on my desk, but given the temperature in the UK this week, I don't think I'm going to be making much progress, because it is very warm in the UK, and it's going to be for like the rest of this week. But part of that being aside, I've just been doing a little bit of hobby here and there. I've been working on some videos for the channel. How to use Mortarion should be coming up, and also another Flash Outbreak. So trying to do things as and where I can, but it's just been a bit of a crazy week this past week at work as well, so not had too much free time. But all that being said, a very interesting, before we do the segue, let's have a quick check in here with chat. We've got lots of usual people in the chat tonight. Good to see those friendly names in the chat there. Don Hooson is currently called Depression Hooson. We're trying to pull him back round, but I understand Don. Don is not happy with the state of the game, and a lot of people aren't, which again will be relevant to the topic of tonight. Yes, but part of that, like I said, good to see everyone in here in the chat having a nice time. Everybody, there's lots of names in here. Good lord, look how many people there are. WTC was epic. Oh, Chukanori did go. WTC was epic. Thoroughly recommend watching the streams back on War Games Live and from WTC and War Masters. They are incredible games. That is very true. Meds, when can we expect the Dwarven Revolution podcast episode? Don't worry, it'll come. But yeah, lots of people in the chat. Hopefully, is having a good time with the hobby, despite the overall state of it right now. So that's a thing. But yeah, over the weekend, we had a little event go on called the WTC. Was one of you like to explain the WTC for people in the chat who maybe are not aware of what the WTC is? We are really not on cue tonight.
Do you want to do a Dave or shall I? I mean, you can simply just describe. It's basically the Warhammer World Cup, basically. It's where each country puts a team together of their eight best players. Obviously, there's contention about within different countries of different selection things, but it's 8 players that are put forward to represent that country, and in the teams format, which we talked about before, where it's on a score of differential. Each game is out of 20, so like a draw is 10 points each, which means no one scored more than 5 points more than the other, and then for every 5 points someone wins the game by get 1 more point differential, with the 20-0 being the biggest win you can get. And then you pool those scores across the 8, and basically the 8 with the most of those out of 20 scores wins the round. And yeah, so it starts like a football tournament or another sports tournament where you're in pods of 4. Once you break out the pods, it kind of becomes a bit more cutthroat. Winners play winners until you get a league table. And then there is also a warm-up tournament where it's like a singles tournament done a couple of days before. Some players don't play in it. I think some teams take the stance if you don't want your top players playing it, because then people see how the lists work and have time to sort of like think how to counter it. And also there's fatigue and things. Other teams don't necessarily see it that way. The winning team, for example, so perhaps shows as a good thing. And yeah, it's just where, so obviously you assume the 8 players represent each country, the best that country's got. So that tournament, you know, is basically the very best players in the world playing each other in a singles tournament, and it is really high standard of 40k. You know, much higher than anything you'd see at the average GT. I don't know if that summarising, if there's anything you want to add or sort of throw in there.
No, I think you summarised it pretty well.
Yeah,
there,
I think it's pretty good. I think I was just going to add then that they also run a singles GT as well, called War Master, which people can enter and play. Not everybody enters that, but it's some people see it as a way to kind of get warmed up into the event, get some extra games in at a competitive level. But that is a singles event, still highly competitive, and yeah, I was lucky enough just to be able to watch absolutely tons of it. So I watched War Games live pretty much solidly for about 3 days, which is pretty good. And fair play to those guys for particularly Joe and Adam for basically doing pretty much 13 hours of streaming a day. It was absolutely an epic effort, and they kept up the standard right to the end. So yeah, Joe, guys, if you see this, well done, good job on it.
And it's safe to say that Death Guard at WTC was pretty prevalent. I think, was it every single team, par 1 or par 2, had Death Guard as part of their team, which is kind of crazy. It was near all, pretty much.
Any team that was a high seed, yeah. Any team that was in a serious contender to like place top 10 had Death Guard, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And there was, like you say, 2 or 3 teams that didn't.
No.
It was pretty.
There were a couple, yeah.
It was pretty Death Guard rife.
Yeah, and it was a lot of Hammer. We saw a couple of VV and a couple of COC. There was the odd Death Lords chosen and whatnot in there, but the majority of it was Hammer, and then there was the odd VV and odd COC. Now, interestingly, in that War Master GT that happened before the WTC, that was won by Alban from the French team who was running their Death Guard for the actual WTC with a Virulent Vectorum list, which is the list I originally made. So it's the sort of, which proves basics still matter. But yeah, it was really go back to basics kind of list with Death Guard. It was Demon Prince, the 10 Plague Marine Brick with the Biology Putrefy and the Plague Caster with Rhino, double Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence, triple 3-man Death Shroud Terminators. Then it was like triple HBL Drone, double Mythic Blight Hauler, and 310 Poxwalkers. Like the basic list of the time, and it just proves that even though Hammer is kind of crazy and good, I still think, and I think me and Dave still agree here, that VV in the right hands just has the tool set to deal with so much more stuff.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see him do well with that. And then after that, and again, it kind of proves it as well, same because the next place in Death Guard in that War Masters event was it Cock, was it, guys? I think it was Cock, yeah. 21st?
Yeah, it was 21st.
And then followed on by that was also Cock. So it actually shows that the sort of more generic armies still doing better in that singles environment where you have like VV and COC. And Hammer is definitely it still smashes it in you got to bear in mind this is a very strange meta 'cause it's all the best players in the world pretty much together. But it shows that when that is the case, that Hammer is actually maybe not as powerful in a singles format. And again, these guys could have also been playing their team's list as well, rather than the singles. So we need to bear that in mind.
There's something to. Yes, is this where you're placing in the singles when you're not talking about the
is the singles, yeah.
Players from the teams event?
This is War Master GT, yeah.
You.
So there were three Death Guard players in the top 30, first place, 21st place, 27th place.
Yeah.
Got you. No, because obviously they also do, of the people who play in the 8-man teams, the individual scores also get ranked. So you'd be like.
Yeah, and in that,
So I wasn't sure which one you were.
Was
which one you were
Alban was
looking at.
9th, who came third master with the next Death Guard was 26th, and the next Death Guard player was 27th, is individual players from the team's event. So there were still only 3 Death Guard in the top 30 for both the War Master singles GT and as individual players within the team's event as well.
So it's pretty cool to see, to be honest. So we got quite a good result there, and then when it actually came to teams, it was actually quite interesting on the stats. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull it up very quickly. Thank you very much to Lazy Chicken there for the gifted membership. So Dave, take someone through the membership process while I find these stats.
I certainly will. So you can become a member if you're not. As you can see, there are a lot of people in here with coloured names. These people are all members of the channel. If you want to join, it's $2.99 a month. That is less than the price of a coffee. You can do that from the join button underneath the video, or you can find it on our homepage. That will get you access to our Discord as well as supporting the channel. The Discord has 1,250-ish now players in there, all Death Guard players. It is one of them genuinely the most wholesome, supportive communities in 40. In here, you will find sub-channels for every detachment. You will find everything from general chat to competitive chat to even a newly put up fitness channel, so people are encouraging each other during the summer to get out there and move around as well. It's a really, really great place, and just an amazing resource. If you want to ask a rules question, if you want to kind of find out a new way to play a detachment, want to look at lists. If you want to also get your list actually reviewed as part of the Blight Lord surgery, you can actually take on another tier of membership, which is Blight Lord at $6.99. And then if you really want to support the channel, this one comes with no additional bonuses. It just means you love us very much, which we really appreciate. That's Death Shroud, and that's at $8.99. So do feel free to consider to join, and I'll hand you back to Aidan.
No worries, I'm just very quickly loading up the main screen here.
Sorry, I'll continue.
No, it's all right.
Don't worry, Meds. I wanted to catch Meds anyway. He just has just done 10 gifted memberships.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
thank you very much.
If you did receive a membership,
Woo!
please
There you
do
go.
say thanks. And also remember, you get Nurgling Shake as well. And that is literally trademarked on this channel now, along with Plague Bus. Then everyone who's just been given a membership, go into the community tab or the page tab, as it's now called. Click on there to join the Discord, connect your YouTube channel to it, and get in there and enjoy.
There we go. So I've just gone to yes. Thank you very much there, Meds and Lazy Chicken, for the support. Absolutely appreciate it so much. Keeps us going. So I have just put on the screen now for the viewers the actual sort of like a recap of how the factions performed at WTC. So quickly looking at Death Guard here. The most played faction comes out with a 48% win rate, a 36% loss rate. The obviously draws are much more common in this, so
yeah.
that the rest of the difference there is obviously draws. The 6th highest points per game average. Now the interesting thing is here, it basically shows that, as it states, is Death Guard can play versus any faction on any terrain and always perform. Even in bad potential matchups, they're still coming away with close wins. Sorry, close losses. So there was no real blowouts as Death Guard. There was blowout wins for Death Guard, but not so much blowout losses as Death Guard, which is kind of what makes them such a powerhouse in teams at the moment. Obviously, we know that the faction itself is strong, but this isn't particularly new. I think even before the new Death Guard Codex, Death Guard was kind of finding this place in teams where it could kind of just be okay into everything. It wasn't as good into everything, but it was definitely always as okay into everything. It could kind of take on a lot of things. That being said, though, it didn't exactly set the world on fire in terms of like smash everything. And that's not to say that the book's not good and whatnot, stuff like that. There's many different reasons why that's the case. Obviously, there's instances of people would have took bad matchups with Death Guard because Death Guard is just good into anything. It can kind of neutralize a bad matchup there. It depends on the kind of list. Like Mortarian's Hammer itself can sometimes struggle to like go and get a 20-0 against a competent player, but it will never lose a certain game against a competent player just because of how it plays. It's not really, I don't know, would you guys consider Death Guard a push faction as much, or would you consider, I think the problem with Death Guard going into like trying to get 20-0s is still speed and shutting down opponents' scoring. I feel like the 20-0s are best served by factions that can get a lot of pressure onto the opponent as quickly as possible and sort of like just absolutely smash them. Yep. Because if we look down here as well, the very bottom, the actual unsung hero of the event was World Eaters. World Eaters had an average pick rate of only 2.7%, but came out of the weekend with 43 wins, 6 draws, and 16 losses.
Wow.
That is insanely good.
Wow.
Like, they had their positive win rate against every single faction except Death Guard, but that match only had a 6 sample size. So like World Eater's really showing up for teams in this aspect, which is kind of interesting to see. Really, I mean, I don't know what you guys think of for that one there, because that one genuinely took me by surprise.
I mean, I think the thing we forgot to. I think the thing we forgot to mention at the start is the pairings process in teams. It's not like a GT where anyone plays anyone, because obviously people can kind of like choose a matchup. So each team puts, I think, an attacker. Then you put your attacker down, face down, and each team looks at it privately, then puts 2 cards to defend with, and then the attacking one picks the matchup that they want. So I think because World Eaters can maybe like avoid some bad matchups, and maybe there was some overconfidence into World Eaters. Maybe some people thought they're a bit more of a pushover faction than they were. So maybe that's an element as well. So that it'd be interesting to see if that translates into the singles meta, but that's maybe something just to throw in as part of the, when we're sort of evaluating these things.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. We can obviously see, there's also some factions that just really didn't perform. Like Emperor's Children only had a 37% win rate, 55% loss rate. So still a lot of factions that are still really struggling, which is obviously not great to see. Guard being severely solid. Eldar being, pretty damn good. Turns out, if you want to kill Knights, you play Eldar, because Eldar had an 83% win rate versus Chaos Knights, 77% win rate versus Imperial Knights, which is kind of brutal. that's a lot of. It turns out we found the answer to all the Knights there, and the answer is Eldari there. And they also had a positive win rate versus Death Guard as well, which kind of just shows that Eldar is definitely not dead. I still think it requires a much higher player skill to get the most out of in comparison to like other armies. But like Eldar and the Fire Dragons is kind of crazy. Now I don't think it needs nerfing, because I think if you nerf Fire Dragons, they probably don't have to play. You don't probably have too much play.
No, they can't play the game. Yeah.
You need to have some good units. We don't want to kill everything. But I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I was just going to.
Go on.
I just wanted to add on your point, Aidan, just a second ago, was that I think you're right. I think DG is not a it's not a 20-0 faction in teams, because it needs to either stage and then assault, or it needs to counterpunch. So it's never really that kind of strong turn one, setting up to just kind of absolutely like nuke the game. It very much is it doesn't really matter what you put against it. It's going to make sure the other person is definitely not 20-0ing.
Yeah, for sure. Also hello to Nathan in the chat. That's a family member of mine. And thank you very much to Lord Korag for becoming a Plague Marine as well. Thank you so much, Lord Korag, for the support there, mate. Massively appreciate it. Thank you for the spirit there. But the one thing, and again, it's already been stated in chat. So we see here that Death Guard has done pretty good in teams. It kind of performed its role, which is more blunter, more like flattener, rather than so much of a pushing faction. But it did perform its role very admirably. However, teams is teams, and teams is its own thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull it back. We're going to go to the singles. I'm going to have a look at the stats on how Death Guard is getting on in singles by having a look at our best friend, good old Meta Monday. So let me go find Meta Monday. There we go. Lone Star Open. First place Death Guard, second place Death Guard, third place cheating fucking piece of shit. Get out of here. Fourth place third place Necrons, fourth place Death Guard. So in the top 4 we have 3 Death Guard. Well, technically in the top 5 we have 3 Death Guard, 1 cheating piece of shit, and unfortunately a Necron player. So I no longer care. If people are going to cheat, I'm just going to call it out as it is. I'm sorry. If you're going to come at me and say I accidentally forgot I had the Hell Brute,
had an accidental Hell Brute.
Look, coming from Mr. 11 Cultist here, I accidentally put a 5-point model on a board in one game, and it died instantly. You're going to tell me in Pact Bound Zealots, where a Hellbrute literally gives you an aura of lethal sustained 5s, so coincidentally just snuck itself into your list, and you didn't notice for 6 games? Fuck off. Get out of here.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to defend that, isn't it, really? I think the way I would put that is like when you see these people like, I'm going to just say his name, TJ Lanigan, for example, is a cheat as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if people in this know him. You can't roll dice and call different numbers and be anything else. It doesn't matter what you do with your GoPro. You just shouldn't have done that. And everyone always has the big apologies afterwards. Everyone always has a blah, 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 blah. Just don't do it in the first place, because if you get caught, no one's ever going to go, F you guys, ha, ha, ha. It's always, I'm really, really sorry, blah, 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 blah. just don't cheat.
I will.
There you go.
I will say.
I think
he
that's,
does play for our team,
think that's-
TJ, and he has. To be fair, that is someone that did own it. And then he does. He had played for a lot of years with the body cam on to try and redeem a reputation. I know. I understand. Will, and I get it. But at least that's someone taking accountability.
I mean,
here we've got
this
someone.
other people being kicked out. Yeah, okay, well,
For sure, for sure, you are right. People have been kicked out for less. I totally get that. But here we've got someone that is once again refusing to take accountability. They're saying, "Oh, it's just an accident. I'll go into a list." Whereas TJ actually came out and fully admitted that he cheated and that it was wrong, and then he took a break from the game, came back trying to get better. This is someone that is still trying to defend their actions, which I just don't agree with. But we're not going to talk about cheaters anymore. But it's fair. Like, look, when people cheat, you're going to make opinions of yourself. You've got to.
It's fair. Look, if you're on
your
your team, I'm not part of that, so I'm not saying that. There are other people who've been called out on podcasts for less, and I don't know the fella.
It's fair.
So
It's
I'm
fair.
just saying it. I just
Look,
calling wrong dice to me is something that's. Anyway,
and I'm not going to silence you.
Let's
the
move
thing
on
is,
from
Will,
that, because obviously everyone has their own opinions.
Yeah, and I'm not going to silence you because the thing is, Will, those people, whoever they are, part of our team or not, did make those decisions at the moment, and they had to live with repercussions for it. And I'm sure they accept that as well. But this instance here, this again ridiculous. Just don't be a cheating piece of shit. The end. But yeah, so for reality, in the top 10, so if we actually bring it down, there's actually another 2 Death Guards sneaking in at 9th and 10th. Also potentially in 11th, if that guy's taken out of there. So in top 10, at one of the biggest events in America, the Lone Star Open, 307 players, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Death Guard. Not great. Not a great look. WTC War Master was won by Death Guard as well. Again, it's a team, so I'm not going to talk about that. The next one, the Krefeld Major 2025. Again, 150 players in Germany. It was won by Imperial Knights, but they're in the top 10. There is still 2 Death Guard in 3rd and 4th. Still, yeah. And then the actual takeaways of the thing, we got that Death Guard is again still the most played faction by far. 10.7% of the meta, so that's kind of wild. And they had a 53% win rate. So it's kind of... The win rate itself has fallen. But the problem is the actual event wins and the T-Whip is still way over average of where it should be. So what I think is happening is players are learning to play against the average Death Guard player. And that's bringing the win rate down because people are learning to do like simple things like a 6-inch deep strike, people are learning to fight against, which we said would happen. But the problem is the people that aren't just relying on the raw stats of Death Guard or the fact you can 6-inch and actually know how to play the game on top of understanding what makes Death Guard strong are still absolutely smashing everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just... It's not good. So even though we can look at WTC and say, oh, Death Guard did okay there, decent, pretty good, but nothing horrendous, you can't really say the same when it comes to singles. You can't really have a top 10 consisting of 5 of the same faction.
And not in the general game.
Yeah, and not in the general game.
Which is what most people are playing in.
It is. And we're also seeing...
It's still a case if you walk into Death Guard, you're like, this is probably going to be incredibly rough or a loss.
Yes, exactly. So
at the moment, and that's what I think most people are walking up to the table with the feeling of, which isn't great.
Yeah, and we've had people in our own Discord community, basically, like Don Houston, who is expressing that feeling of not enjoying the game because he's not having fun games, because his opponents aren't having fun against him. He's not having fun because he feels like he's just getting to basically get away with murder. And I've noticed that. I've made some mistakes that should have cost me games, but it doesn't matter because the army's just in such a strong place, and I have such cheap units I can get away with stuff like that. Now, this has been compounding for a while. And obviously we all know this. We have been quite vocal thinking that Death Guard do need a nerf and stuff like that. We're not in the scale. The problem is that we've got is it has now gotten to a point where we actually have the first sort of event taking balance into their own hands, which is the Hellstorm. Is it called All Stars? I believe it is. He has decided. So Hellstorm Mikey. Now he did announce this on his stream. I can't remember where the bloody post is. I'll find it in a second. There we go. He did announce it on his stream that basically... I can't even see the post here. I'll get it. I'll put it back to the chats now. So, Mikey is concerned about the state of the game at the moment, as a lot of people are. And in an effort to sort of do something about that, he's done something that is probably going to be considered unpopular, won't lie. Because people don't like when people start messing with things themselves. But the fact it's kind of like come to a point where someone is willing to make a decision, could lead to more people making a decision, to basically do a community data slate where basically he's imposing restrictions on both Death Guard and Imperial Knights in the game that basically nerfs them. So he's basically taken the data slate job off GW and done the whole Thanos, I'll do it myself kind of thing. Now, on the stream when he did this, his goal was not to make Death Guard unplayable. In fact, he just wants to bring them down a peg to sort of make them more in line and more balanced so that people can enjoy the event, because he's worried that basically, and it is correct, that a lot of people just aren't enjoying the game in its current state in singles anyway. So the nerf that he's done, so we'll do Knights first. So Knights are limited to one of the big chassis, so you can't have like triple attributes. You can have one attribute, that's it, no other attributes. You can have, you know, one like big. Oh, no, he does for Chaos Knights as
multiple big ones,
yes,
but not multiple of
yes,
any
so
one.
you can't have multiple despoilers, you can't have multiple attributes. And then for Death Guard, we've basically been given an army-wide rule of 2. So 2 Squad to Death Shroud max, 2 HBL drones max, 2 Fetid Blood drones max, 2 Mahala's net max. And we also have been banned from taking Knight allies as well. We cannot take Knight allies. So now I don't know if you guys want to talk about the actual nerf, where you think it'll actually do anything, or if you want to talk about like how have we got here.
I think it's a very quick chat, which is it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah,
to Death Guard.
I mean, I think it's
two,
a little
three,
bit. It's a little bit attention grabby, isn't it? It's doing something.
I agree.
It knows it's going to get clicks.
I think all that's going to happen is your 3 mans will go into a 3 and a 5, and most people are quite happy to 2 MBHs and 2 heavy blight launcher drones are just as good. And unfortunately, we also then have 2 of other drones and 2 of other drones that you can take if you want to as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's actually going to make any difference.
Put it this way, the list that won War Masters, I think he just drops a heavy blight launcher drone and can keep everything else in the list.
Yep.
Like,
well, I mean, like
I say, I love Mikey. I know him personally, and I do think there's a little bit of that is to sort of get some internet attention and sort of maybe help drive some ticket sales for the event.
I don't know, because the last time he did this, he got kicked back quite hard. He got a lot of shit for it. So unless he's going
mind it. This is what I mean.
Yeah, go on. Unless he's going
the
with
nerf, so I don't mind the.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mind the sentiment, but I don't mind the sentiment, but I think the sentiment should be maybe it just says Death Guard have to play, I don't know, like 150 points less, for example. That would have been like a better thing, or you have to take 100 points less, like 1,900 point list for Death Guard. That would have been a more comprehensive and more meaningful nerf, and I think that would have been, because I think what he's doing is right. Like, so I don't know if I'm the odd one out in this world. I want them to nerf Death Guard sooner rather than later, because I want to go back to being able to build lists again. Like, I'm actively playing lists down on points. Today I played 155 points down. Because I've been playing 125 points in some conversations at the weekend. People think I'm being very naive with that 125 points, and they think the exact same list. For example, people put really good solid arguments to me why the Tallyman should go up to 45 points. And then someone was like, well, if you put Poxwalkers to 65 points, are you going to drop them? I'm like, well, no, I'll still take 3. And they're like, exactly. So do you think 125 points is enough for I'd worked it out? So like the Death Shroud Load of Contagion package, because I'd worked it out, I think go up 20. And they were like, I think people are like, they think it's going to go up 30 plus. And I was like, wow, if this is true. So I wanted to see what lists would look like. And that I really felt it today. Like when I played 125 points down, I really sort of like, it was still quite good, you know what I mean? It was kind of a thing. But today was the first time I felt it. But I did play Black Templars, who I think are poised to sort of rise up. But I think if Mikey had done that, it'd be more meaningful. I think the sentiment to nerf Death Guard, and I think it'd be good maybe if GW just rip the band-aid off, you know, like, and then we can see what it is. I hope they don't go as far as some of the points I tried today, because I think we do then go straight back to middle of B tier, you know what I mean? It was really noticeable, especially compared to the newer, stronger armies that are out there. Thousand Suns and things that are just sitting under the surface, just waiting to have their day, letting us take the heat for some of the things that maybe need looked at in other books. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys disagree or want to add anything to that.
I think
the only thing I was going to add about people changing rules was it was Bug Eater, wasn't it? Back in, I was just looking it up at the start of 10th, who actually banned Eldari from their event at the start of 10th, and then I think 1 or 2 other GTs did it as well. At that
Well,
point being,
Votan
like,
was the
until it's
first one.
fixed. I mean, don't
Last,
get me wrong,
last
that was
edition.
they were running it. Yeah, I mean, well, they were running. Oh, don't worry, we're running at 69, 70% at one point win rate.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit different, but that's just, like you said, that's another example, isn't it, of the community at a point starting to kind of take things, matter into their own hands.
Yeah, and like I get this. I kind of respect the effort. I agree with Will. I don't think the rule of two actually does anything. This isn't a faction that is currently a problem because of like a broken data sleet that people are spamming 3 of, or like 1 or 2. Like the entire army is just undercosted. Like the points cut would have just been better to just say, hey, if you're playing Death Guard, you're playing 150 points down. That would have more impact, because if you were to like right now come to me and any of my lists and be like, you can only take 2 of everything, I'm like, okay. All right, I'll just swap some things around. Like, okay, like
yeah.
I'm not running 3 of any. I'm not running 3 of anything.
Yeah, like in your list, you just keep your 6-man.
Yeah. Fair play, Jay. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I don't think it works in that sense. Now I appreciate the sentiment for him to try, because the problem is, like, again, he's whether it is, like you said, to try and get a bit of attention. I don't think it is. From listening to me, I think his intention is in a place of trying to keep the game from being a shit state that it's in. The problem I have with it all is it shouldn't even be at this state. Like, why the fuck is someone running the event even having to consider this action? Nevertheless, actually enforcing it, because we had Mordaka, and I was very vocal about Mordaka, and I still people are using the current state of the game to say, see, Mordaka didn't need this. No, Mordaka was still stupid. Let's not bat around the bush. Mordaka was stupid. This is stupid. They can both be stupid. What's annoying to me is how the reaction to Mordaka was dealt with, which was dealt with, and then this is just kind of being ignored. And now we're getting to the point where people are starting to do community nerfs, which is not something we should have to do, because it should be up to the multi-million-pound company to be balancing their own game.
Multi-billion.
Sorry, billion. Yeah. So, and it needs.
I mean,
go on.
But the imbalance sells models. I'm going to throw this out. I say this all the time. Imbalance sells models. It is part of Games Workshop's business plan to have imbalance. I will guarantee you now, if Death Guard models are still flying off the shelves, that will be why it is left broken, because they want to sell more Blight drones, they want to sell more Blight haulers. They'll nerf it as and when they feel that they've sold enough, or it comes around in the actual point. That's my honest opinion, and I think that's sort of proven time and time again. Like, I've seen them do some stuff over the time where it's almost painfully obvious sort of how some of their sales tactics work, and I do think that that's what's happening here. For example, I imagine they sold lots and lots and lots of knights and are still selling lots and lots and lots of knights, because that's how it works. A lot of people buy stuff that'll help them win better, and that's its own conversation. I don't necessarily hate that, but I think that's what their business model is, and I do think that's a part of it. Like, for example, they've made the effort to like get Josh as part of the team, so obviously they can't pretend that they don't have someone there, isn't it? And I'm sure Josh is screaming at them, telling them, showing them the data. Maybe he's even forwarding them links to Hellstorm and things like that. And obviously the person above them who makes the decisions on actually like releasing the balance probably goes and speaks to the sales team. I imagine the sales team send back some guys, have you not seen how many of these knights we've sold? And they're like, we'll balance it once these drop. And that's my honest opinion. And I think, it's a shame though, because the players of the game like us, like, I would rather be able to write a Death Guard list and know that it's going to last, rather than sort of play a Death Guard list that just feels wonky, if that makes sense. Like, like literally I was saying before, like I nerfed my own list to 125 points. Now I'm thinking, does it need to be 155? I am even wondering if some of it's going to be 200 points plus, like, because like I say, if the Death Guard package goes up to 30... Why are we in this situation
where you're having to figure that out? It's bullshit. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Yeah,
because the thing is, well, we've got London coming up next month, like end of next month. I want to be able to start preparing and practicing for London. And right now,
I want to start playing and practicing games.
I just can't. I just can't. And the only thing is, if I just leave it, because I don't really want to play right now, and then this London is not going to be this meta. There's got to be a data slip for London. So I don't know, but anyway.
There's definitely one in September.
Yeah,
I think there's a scheduled one before LGT. So I think London.
And it's got to be 2 weeks for LGT to hit the rules deadline.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's even more annoying.
So it has to be by it's got to be by the 12th.
When we're this frustrated, and we're the ones playing the faction, imagine how the rest of the game is currently feeling right now. It's madness. But
you also see what their point of view is, because they'll also be looking from the sales thing they gave them before. They'll be looking at the meta chasers who've just bought 3 Blight Dawns and just bought all the stuff, and they've just, they're ready, they're excited for the first tournament. If they nerf it now, then they won't with the backlash from all the people who've just given them money to buy models, is my honest opinion of the flip side of that. Because like I say, that's how I think that they're thinking about it, because they are a money-making business. But they just should never have released these rules in this way. It doesn't take a genius to sort of work out that Dextrad were too cheap at 140, especially when that rule could originally be used in rapid ingress. Do you know what I mean? It's it's quite obvious when you sort of they can just look at it. So I think I just wish the Knights one's more frustrating. I think we've getting in the ruck because we were there before Knights, but I actually think Knights are a bigger problem to the game, because you write a list and then you can go, I really like this list, and then you go, how many big Knights can it kill? Maybe 1 a turn if I focus fire, and you're like, well, okay, I can't run that anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Whereas previously you'd be like, yeah, okay, I could take a chance because this is pretty good. If I run Knights, we'll see, maybe it's the dice will spike that game, but the odds of playing Knights aren't that reliable. Whereas now you might play it 2 or 3 times at a GT, and if you can't kill 3 big ones in a turn, unless you get lucky or unlucky with the parents, depending on how you look at that, you're not going to do well. So I don't know. I think the game's in a frustrating place, but I think it's in a frustrating place from the game maker's own fault. But I don't know if they're bothered. That's my sort of frustration.
Well, I want to touch on, because I have a secondary fear, and it's not just the nerf that comes with Death Guard. There's no doubt we get nerfed. That is what it is. I'm obviously worried about.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm obviously worried about GW giving us the dreaded triple tap. Because they can't be asked trying to balance it, and they just nuke us from orbit, as we saw with Sisters and Orcs. But my other concern that goes alongside that, because I've said that one before, is I think people right now who play the game, however, are too tunnel visioned on Death Guard and Knights. And I think that once the nerf comes in, people think that once the nerf come in, and we are rightfully nerfed, don't get me wrong, we meet ourselves and Knights rightfully nerfed, the game will go back to a Zen bliss. And I think they are going to be horrifically proven wrong. I think Death Guard and Imperial Knights are taking so much limelight, and rightfully so, but there is another layer of absolute insanity just below the surface that a lot of people haven't experienced yet because of the Death Guard, because of the Imperial Knights domination. And once we are removed and that limitation is gone, I think those become the new Death Guard and Imperial Knights, and we're back in square one. I think balance as it is spiraling out of control quite badly, and they need to do, unless the next balance slate not only touches the armies at the top, Death Guard, Imperial Knights, etc., they need to look at the layer down from that, because you played against Black Templars, Will. I've seen some Black Templar stuff.
They are not fine.
No.
They are not fine. They are not fine. There's one incredibly broken interaction that they need to fix with the Codex FAQ, but finish your point and then we'll get to that.
Well, we'll come back to that, but then again, that's another thing. Space Wolves, if anyone played against them, the amount of 4-up invulnerables they can bring for super cheap and just spam in your face constantly, that is genuinely a thing. Thousand Suns, still really good. Those bow goats, absolute nightmare to deal with. Blood Angels never got a chance to shine.
Thousand Suns.
I mean, any of us like Gene Stealer cults as well. It's really stupid still. I know they don't have a massive player base.
Gene Stealer cult have been as busted as Death Guard for a long time. I think they've been as busted as Death Guard. We are now. They are equally as busted. No worse, no better. just no one plays the faction. But like that list that is running riot has been there for over a year. Like, and
Yeah, it's not
like
new.
I say, it's just the only people who there's like 7 people playing at events, and like 4 or 5 of them, like when they go, always get at least a 4-1. But then there's so many other people not running that list and not taking Gene Stealer Cult seriously. It's hidden it. It's exactly. It goes back to Aiden's point. This is happening with factions as well. For example, like the Black Templars interaction I'm talking about, reactive move and blood surge being able to be done in the same turn is a combination that should not be in the game anywhere. It is broken as shit. Like, you basically can't avoid it. So it's like you either have to stand like, well, for example, they can with the reactive move and blood surge, which the blood surge finishes in combat, the most they can move is 14 inches. Like, if they get a 6-inch on both dice, it's 14 inches. What do? You stand your whole army 14 inches back from the unit that's standing on the centre to finish them. And when they get in combat, they blend everything and swing first. You can't resist in combat. It is not okay. It is broken. It is an easy fix in a Game 1 FAQ for the book. Just you cannot blood surge and reactive move the same unit in the same turn. Easy fix, but that is not there at the moment, and it is busted as shit. And their repulsor for 220 points, it's a Land Raider that just has loads and loads and loads of guns and has Oath on its data sheets. Basically, is there another unit from your army within 12 inches of the unit it's shooting, and you get full rerolls with like 7 different guns? One of them's like oh mate, like, and it's 220 points, 20 points less than a Land Raider. It is almost as broken, and maybe it's even as comparative to our bloat drones. Like, I know that there are other Codex, and like, you know, I'm saying this, I just played them 155 points down, and it was still a close game. So that kind of like does say a lot about our book and what I'm moaning. But when we get nerfed, if 155 points is at minimum what we get, we go way, like, if we lose 200 points, we're way below them, and they'll wreck us in most games because we don't have the tools to run away from them. So like, and there's other stuff like Aiden mentioned, Eldar, stuff like that. Like, Thousand Suns are literally, like, if anyone's played Death Guard in Thousand Suns, like, without Mortarian's Hammer, like I played 125 points down, it was still a close game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not not going to sort of like pretend that, but like, they won. And like, if 125 points is like wrong and it's actually 150 to 200, all of a sudden that is a rough matchup as well. And like Aiden said, Eldar and all these other things there.
I want to see if they undo the
balance the
Blood
game
Angel
properly.
buffs, because Blood Angels are still extremely like
sorry?
Blood Angels, like, because they got massive points drops, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" And then because Death Guard exists in the meta, and Knights, like, again, probably more Death Guard than anything. Death Guard was just like, hey, Blood Angels, we don't care. So I do wonder again, once Death Guard is removed from that equation, like, and if Blood Angels keep their current points, and because like melee rushdown is kind of struggling to get in the game at the moment because of Death Guard's like relevancy. It's why like it's why EC aren't really doing too great. Why World Eaters can kind of struggle, even though they did really well at WTC, because again they could dodge the matchup. I do wonder, once we remove these armies, come back, do these then become oppressive to like any form of like shooting army? Like, do guards start to struggle? Do you know LDL Eldari start to struggle? Because again, they're just getting ran down by these ridiculously cheap like units from like, again, Sanguinary Guard being cheap, Vanguard
Necrons are still there.
Necrons are still there. Necrons have always been pretty good. I just don't think
This is what I've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
Go on, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just last bit I was going to say.
No, go ahead. Finish your point.
I just don't think people. I think people in their head have this idea that once Death Guard and Imperial Knights are either a nerf to decentness or nerfed into oblivion, the game's going to go back to this serenity
The game's
of like,
fixed.
the game's fixed. And I just don't think that's going to be the case. Not that we shouldn't be nerfed. That's not an excuse to not nerf us.
You got to remember, right? This thing is like a software program. Is you change one line in a bit of code, and the whole thing doesn't work the way it worked before. So it's not as simple as changing Death Guard or nerfing it, and Imperial Knights and nerfing it. In fact, the more you nerf simultaneously, the worse the overall changes to the computations happen. It gets worse and worse and worse every time it iterates. that's not saying that we don't need changes at all. We've talked about loads and loads and loads, but I am still absolutely sticking to my stance that GW have unleashed, and Necros has just put it into a member 7 months. Thank you very much. He said GW letting out the power creep all at once, and it's what I've been saying for the past couple of weeks. Is I do think that the game is just. There's just the floodgates of lethality have opened up in the game, and I think we've seen that more with some codecs than others. And I know Aiden, you've got views on Votan, and I think Grey Knights probably haven't had the same kind of feel yet about what's going on with them. But Wolves, us, Black Templars, you were saying there, Imperial Knights, like it does feel like that the game overall there's a power shift in the game. I don't know whether GW is just hoping we get to 2-hour games at some point. Maybe that's what it's going for.
I think, to your point, what you just said then about letting the power creep out all at once, I think I actually killed the monkey paw. Earlier in this edition, and I think this is one of the things that's causing it right now, I complained that the codexes are coming out too slow. And the one upside to codexes coming out too slow is you'd have 2 codexes come out every 2 months or a month or whatever. They'd come out, they'd hit the game, they'd get balanced, and then they'd find their slot in the game. And within this one, we've had one data slate, and let's think about it. Between last data slate and now, we've had how many books come out? Grey Knights, Black Templars, us, World Eaters, Imperial Knights. Sorry, not Imperial Knights. Well, technically kind of, because they got an index update. Chaos Knights, Leagues of Votan are coming out.
Chaos Knights.
Black Templars.
Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
Thousand
Suns.
All with it before a balanced data
They're
slate.
just going. They're like.
And don't forget the detachments, as well.
Oh yeah, there's 3 extra detachments.
Yes,
They need to stop doing detachments with balanced data sets. Don't balance the game and unbalance it. For example, just as a sort of a point to expand on what you said, and for you guys to sort of say, I would have liked them to do the emergency balance on Death Guard Knights and Chaos Knights. Do it now. Do it when it was expected 3 weeks ago. But don't do the whole slate. Look at the game for the next 6 weeks, and then let all these things that we assemble below the surface rise up, and then they can balance the game properly in 3 months. Knowing that the predators have gone, what then sort of rose up became a problem. Leave it. Don't do any of these new stupid not the stupid, but the extra detachments, and then do 1 new detachment every month, because they seem to do 3 of the data slates, about 3, and do them in between, and they can individually sort of balance them and nerf them as they release them, and it also keeps feeding their content. Instead of just bam, here's loads of stuff. Oh, we made it balanced, but then, instantly unbalanced with this new thing that we didn't do the rules properly on. Again, I think they do it on purpose because that imbalance sells models. So it's we've balanced it, but don't worry, we've made this new thing balanced, so please buy that. And yeah, by the way, it's a model that was either really old or whatever, or we've just pressed, and we haven't sold enough of. I don't know, but that's my own
genuine
thing.
Question.
But yeah.
Go on.
I get. We talk about balancing the problems that they're having with it. I agree. I don't think they need to release detachments at all. I think once it's a new book, that's it. So do any Grotmus detachments see play right now? I can't.
Yeah,
Star Shatter,
the one that
Star Shatter, Grey Knights.
Star Shatter does.
Yeah, but then the rest are there's so many dead detachments in the game. There's so many dead detachments.
Are we talking about specifically Grotmus or ones that just have been released at dates? Because Tunnel Nids is seeing a lot.
Tunnel
of
Nids
play
is
as well.
good, but they release
Yeah.
detachments, and there's so many of them are just dead on arrival. They're just not good. And
The guard one's good too, actually.
I find it weird that what I would rather see rather than bring, because we saw what happened. The Dark Angels came out, the 3 detachments in the Dark Angels book, dog shit. So then they bring out 1 in Grotmus to try and fix it, dog shit. And then they brought out another one again, Wrath of the Rock, which is better, admittedly, but it's still not good enough. So it's so rather than just going back and saying, hey, this detachment inside this codex sucks, let's rework it and make it good and functional, we've added 2 more detachments, both of which are still not really cutting the piece. Why? Why are we and again with all these codexes coming out in such fast succession, I feel like they had balance pretty good. They had a good grasp on balance. They were reactive to the thing, and then because the floodgates open, not of power creep. I don't actually think it's that power creep. Power creep is obviously there, but I don't think it's as power creep as some stuff we see in 9th. But I think it's the floodgates of just content, of just detachments and rules and units all flying at once, and it's just how can you balance a game when, like you said, next month 3 more books are getting included in the game, then they're going to balance them again. I feel like they've kind of dug their own grave a bit.
Yeah. There's a couple of things to it as well. I think we're probably 10 months away from the next edition of the game, as well. So that would mean I think they are trying to get every book out between now and then. The other problem is for us and for everyone else who wants some balance in the game, who wants for everyone who's expecting a masterful data slate in September, I'm going to say that you're not getting it, because there's books landing all the way in between and past it. So, and there's so many books have come out and going back to what I said about changing one bit of the code screws up the program. There's so many new lines of code in the program that have come out between now and 3 months ago, let alone between now and the end of the year, and flowing over the top of the biggest UK event and more releases coming out. There's zero chance of it getting fixed in a all-encompassing manner. Like how and what they're actually going to manage to do, but within this time frame, I don't know, because the task is monumental.
Yeah, this will have to be like one of the biggest.
Do you want to take a bet on something? By the way,
go on.
I will bet you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'll be big, but I don't think it's going to be.
And then a week later, release the Codex, and it'll be more broken than it was before the balance, because they'll have had all these new detachments, and then they'll have balanced the points with the current detachment, and have these new detachments that make what they balance it to broken again, and Imperial Knights just continue. I reckon they will do that, because I don't think they should be able to help themselves, because that's why they've got people like Josh, people who can look at that and tell them, no, this is over strong. But again, I think they want to sell models more, and I think they'll do it because they know that more people will go out and buy Imperial Knights. So I don't know, it might, maybe I'm wrong with that, but I have a strong suspicion.
Mikey, Mikey's in chat right now. Mikey, I said you've not done it for clicks. I'll just say that for now. I said you haven't done it for clicks. I said you think you're trying to do it for what's best for the community. I think you're trying to defend the game. I think you're trying to make changes the best you can. I don't think it's going to work. And I say that as honest opinion. I don't think Rule of 2 does enough to affect Death Guard. I think you're doing the right thing to try and make something happen. But my point that I'm trying to make here is it shouldn't be your fucking job to do that. I was in your stream last night. I even said, hey, mate, ban Death Guard. Cool, go for it. The point we're making tonight isn't to dunk on you or say you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, Mikey. We're saying the community's got to the point where people are having to make their own things.
And we don't. Take
that's
100
ridiculous.
points off.
Mike,
update it again and take 100 points off Death Guard.
Yeah, Mikey, we're not trying to slag you. I was me who said that, Mikey, because it was me who said I think part of it might be to try and get some extra ticket sales. Maybe also because people want to turn to an event where these problem factions are more balanced and have 4 fun games. Also because it gets internet talking. But we're agreeing that the nerfs need to be there. We're actually saying that we think the way you've nerfed it, we think maybe just take points off. Because the example that we gave, if you just joined us, was we gave the example of the War Masters list that one. If you follow your nerf to that, you only have to move 1 heavy blight launcher drone, and the list continues fine. So we're not trying to start podcast beef with you, Mikey. But
I even said last time you did this,
panic.
You got shit for it off the community a lot. So I don't think it's for attention. I think you're trying to do it to make your event more enjoyable, because the game's fucking shit right now, and it is, and we agree, and we think we need nerfs, but we don't think, one, it should be your spot to have to nerf it, or place to have to nerf it. I understand that you're doing it, but you shouldn't have to. And I don't think the nerf of 2. No, it shouldn't be. I don't think the nerf of 2 is going to do enough, because I just think Death Guard is. It's not a singular data shape problem where limiting it down is going to make it better. It's more of it's the entire army's just undercosted. So I think actually just taking 250 points off the Death Guard would actually get you probably better results than your Rule of 2 that you're doing. Although I'd still agree with banning Knights as an allies, because that despoiler is fucking stupid. But yeah, if you
that's
yeah. So and people in the chat will back up that we weren't just saying or dunking it this entire time. We've been talking more about the nerf, and that we and so just beware. It's more the fact that people are having to take things into their own hands, not the fact that you have took something to your hands and we're going ha ha ha. So please understand that if you are still in the chat, which hopefully you are. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
I'm sure he's also. I'm sure he's typing that with a big smirk on his face as well, because I do know Mikey. Yeah.
Oh no, Joe,
he loves to be a cheeky chappy. Let's put it that way. He's also a super sound lad.
Are people Yeah, like Chris Strongboys are saying, we've already been having plenty of chats on the Discord where we've concluded the 150 200 point nerf is where DG is still fine. What else we got? Cobble LMAO said, "Is it wrong? I want GW to do a triple tap so I can hear more Aiden rants. Back when we were bad, it was fun to watch Aiden sweat his ass off while dunking people still."
I didn't want to sweat my ass off.
I think
again.
it's a. I think it's a really interesting one. It's yeah, like I said, whether what we get in September, they've got 4 weeks to get this data slate finalized. They may have already decided what it is. It might already be, kind of done and dusted inside GWHQ. We don't know. Yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see how it finally ends up. Hopefully, it will be something that makes sense for the game. The thing I'm not looking forward to as a Death Guard player, well, actually as a I kind of am. It will be fun to have to scrabble and get a list ready in 2 weeks. But what I definitely am going to miss is when I went to Leeds, I played 12 games with my Death Lord's Chosen list, and I got to practice it. And I've never had that much time. I happen to be able to play at club regularly. I got games outside of it, and I've never been able to practice that many games as a I'm not a top level player. I don't play TTS all the time. I don't get to have 3 games a week. So I actually got to play and practice a list and take it to that. And it's kind of a shame that it's the only downside about, this changes. I won't be able to do that for the biggest UK event.
Yeah. And Mikey in the chat's replied, I think the 200 points drop is valid, but it's not up to me to decide that really. Anything you do is either too little too much. 100% agree, mate. 100% agree. There's no... and that's what we're saying. It's not your job to have to do this. It's ridiculous that we had to wait this long. We would... Even here, we'd much rather had an emergency nerf because, again, we want to be able to make lists knowing that our lists are future-proofed. So, yeah, I respect you trying to do it. Again, we can only give our feedback on it. But, even if it just stops the 3x3 list of spam, it's better than nothing. It is better than nothing. But, again, you shouldn't even have to do that. It's ridiculous.
Also, one thing to throw in there, because Mikey probably isn't a regular listener, so Mikey's probably tuning in now for the first time. Mikey, we've been banging the last 3 weeks about we want Death Guard.
3 weeks? Try 7.
Yeah, because we don't want this sort of easy win.
7, yeah.
That's actually been longer than that. So we're not, because we know that on some of the other ones, we know there's some night sort of more focused content. We're all it's fine, everyone's blown out of proportion. We're not one of them. So anything that you're thinking, don't think it's like the Death Guard guys are saying that no, they're fine, the faction's fine. We're not saying that. We're actually, we want the nerfs to come sooner rather than later. So that might be the context that you're missing. Because if you're tuning in just off something someone's tagged you or whatever, don't think that we're apologists at all. We know that Death Guard are a problem and we want it fixed. We want the band-aid ripped off now so we can go back to having lists that we know are going to last more than the next couple of weeks. Because for the last, 3 weeks, every week the rumour's been, this week there's going to be an emergency.
It's the data slate week.
Every Wednesday, every Thursday.
Nothing's going to happen. And so far, it hasn't.
But yeah, so don't think we're calling you out, Mikey. Like I say, my comment was that I think maybe it's to help sell some tickets as well and get some more clicks on the event. But I also an event, and I know that's a good thing to do. And we're not saying it that you're sort of doing anything wrong for the game. We agree. And Hellstorm, also a great event. So people, if you are looking to go to GTs, I know they've got one coming at the end of the month in Sheffield. We'll even shout it out for you there, Mikey. I think it's at the Outpost. I'm sure if you go to the Hellstorm website, there'll be more information because some of the Stonehammer lads are going down to it. I'm pretty sure it's the last weekend of the month. I think.
So Mike, you probably missed it.
There you go, Mikey. You've even got a free plug off us. There you go. So no more coming our chat calling us out. There you go. You can plug a Stonehammer event on your next one.
I heard you say that. I heard Will say earlier anyway that Stonehammer were banning GSC, Blood Angels, Guard from their events, and they're making a social media post about that. So.
I'm psy-upping it, mate. I'm sort of thinking our new book. I've done the worst I've been doing with Death Guard. They make us D tier again, so I can start winning more games.
Do you know what we should do?
So yeah, I'm psy-upping it.
Let's do another Death Guard bingo. Let's do what's going to be in the data slate. Not now, but next episode.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, it's
go on.
Just Mikey.
Yeah,
no worries, Mikey.
The data slate's blatantly going to drop now, Dave. Now you've done that. You've just tortured it there. You've just tempted fate.
Yeah, it's very quick.
But I mean,
I do think, by the way, for some reason, I think there's some delay between the mics tonight. I don't know why, because we're talking over. I've noticed that. I don't know what it is. Settings must have done something. It might be the heat of my PC struggling a little bit. But yeah, just very quickly to Mikey. Yeah, he said someone tagged him. Maybe on mistake. Yeah, I think the person that tagged you has. We weren't talking about this. You are not the main topic of tonight. We talked about Death Guard's performance, the need for nerfs, and the fact that the community is now going to take it into their own hands, which we think is ridiculous because it shouldn't be done by community. I understand why you're doing it, but the reality of it is this. And again, I'm not against you doing it either, but the reality is, big billion-dollar company is ridiculous for not taking it into their hands and dealing with it because it's their problem to fix, and it shouldn't be your responsibility to fix it. Even though I understand why you're doing it. So yeah, just so we're all on the same page there. But yeah, I think we're probably going to wrap up soon anyway because it is absolutely boiling. Where do you Photoshop fake data slates when you need it? The same place that Tau player photoshopped his fake data cards. He's making up his rules. So yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah. So we'll sort of leave it there for tonight. Hopefully we do see something within the next week or two. Again, I'm just gonna assume they're gonna leave it until September now, which again is stupid. I think they're gonna leave it to the next data slate, actual day. But it is what it is. We are but humble players. There's not much we can do.
Exactly.
It's all we can kind of just crack on with. So what we'll do is for now.
Like I said, we have to roll with it and see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%.
So, also, Aidan, there's something in the chat for you just to quickly check. So, whilst Aidan checks the chat to respond to something that we would like to reveal to people soon, but it might not be ready yet, it might have been cooked in the background. Obviously, I mentioned there I was doing much better when I had crapper rules. So, where might I go to get better with the good rules, Dave? Where could I go to? There's some people out there to help me.
While the rules are still the current rules, until September, you can head on over to Vanguard Tactics, the team that both Aiden and I play for. They offer an academy if you're new to 40k and want to get into it and learn about it with an app supported with modules on everything from all the movement phase to fight phase to how to do more advanced tactics. They have 3 probably live streams a week, so even if you just want to go and check out some live wargaming, they have really good production values, really good bunch of people. And if you want some Death Guard coaching specifically, our very own Aiden is the man you can get that coaching from. And those links are all down below in the video description. But to learn to play the game well, you've got to have some models to play with. So where can I get good models from?
Well, there's this thing called TTS where you don't have to. No. So if you actually want to have like real models, Element Games in the UK we are affiliated with. So anything that you buy from there doesn't cost you any more. Just gives a little kickback to us, keep us doing what we're doing. The links normally in the video description, and it's it's a really good shop as well. If you also live in the north of England, there's a great gaming centre. You know, I do some part-time hours in there because I only live across the road. That sweet staff discount. So yeah, like, you know, if you ever want to come in, always say hello as well. People regularly come in and tell me that they watch the channel and praise what we do. So thanks to you guys, and thanks for the continued support of what we do. But you know, in addition to that, we do some dice and things like that. You know, we've got an affiliate with Baron of Dice. Dave, do you want to tell the people some more?
Yeah, sure. If you head on over to Baron of Dice, which the link is in the description, you can get both square and rounded corner dice. I have some here, as you can see. They come in a lovely metal tin. I also, if you're in the UK, because shipping is really high, I do have a few sets left from a bulk order I got Baron to send over to me. So if you do want some dice, you can contact me on the just DM me on the Discord, and I can send them to you. But if you're everywhere else, please check out Baron of Dice. Click on the link in the description. You can go there. And if you're looking for things like Death Guard branded, disgusting resilient kind of gaming aids like Deep Strike measurements, kind of what battle round you're in, contagion reminders, you can head on over to Saltire Games, who also have kindly created some disgustingly resilient branded items. Those are in the description. And then finally, you can go over to drpstore.com to get merchandise. That's t-shirts, hoodies, caps. Some people have picked up a few bits recently. A couple of exciting things coming in the near future on that. And a few new items have been added to the store just now. So please go check it out and wear some merch out of the events.
Of which I have
very
just
exciting
read
stuff coming
the message.
from
So yes, so
you are lagged, aren't you?
oh mate, I think my PC is genuinely struggling in the heat because it's like everyone is so
It's
like,
like
Like a 5-minute lag, mate.
oh mate, honestly, so sorry guys if tonight's like we're talking over each other stuff a bit more because there is something is wrong. So I hope that doesn't like ruin the entire thing for you guys. But yeah, if there's a reason why, because at first I was like, we're normally pretty on point with answering each of us questions on time, but like it's just not been happening. So that is why.
I think you want to know if we could reveal there's something to reveal.
So-
is this the stream or do we wait until the next stream? That's, I think, not what we're.
We'll wait to reveal that. So we're working on a team jersey for people that want to represent the faction. More, like the Vanguard Tactics shirts, stuff like that. We're gonna try and work one for DRP, so people who maybe don't have a team or something to want to represent the faction can do so with like an actual like sort of team shirt. I was speaking to, I showed it to Nat. Nat's gonna have a look if she can cook up some she can cook up a little bit of a custom work for us because she quite likes
She's
doing
just
that.
gonna put a big poo emoji on the back. Is all it is.
She's gonna yeah, and then she's gonna name mine McDonald's on the back. So little inside joke there for people. So but we have
we'll
also
say about the
had
jersey as well for everyone out there.
go on Dave, go on.
No, it's just that everyone will be number 7.
Everyone will be number 7, yeah. But also we've also got a little giveaway
Actually,
going on at the
7
moment.
you could be 15. Actually, I could see why 15 would work if you want to be the Legion number.
The lag is so
Oh, we're the fourth. There were
horrendous.
14th, aren't we? God.
Oh.
Wait, did you just say
I
the
also did-
15th Legion?
Yeah, I did the wrong list.
Well,
Get out.
It's hot. It's
ban this
hot.
man.
Like I'm literally melting. I've got sweat rolling down my back right now.
Don Houston, thank you very
I'm gonna
much.
put that one down too.
Don Houston, thank you very much for the $2
Thank you, Dom.
super chat there for twirling his mustache. Twirl that mustache away. We also have a giveaway going on at the moment. We've got a pack of Death Guard dice because I have also found a pack somehow. So we have 2 packs of Death Guard dice to give away. To enter the competition, go to our last live stream. What we had, it's called Bing Bong Death Guard is Strong, and we will announce the winner probably next week. Give people a bit extra time to go maybe watch back the episode as well. Give us the extra view. But also, the challenge is to leave. I am taking a Taliban list to my next event with 3 great unclean ones. So the first challenge we offer to you is in the comment section on the last live stream. Or you know what, even shove it on this live stream if you want to. We'll read both of them. Why not? I want you to enter your 3 names of the great unclean ones. So name the 3 great unclean ones that will be in my list. And also in the next event after that, I might be taking Shamble Rot, and I want a list name suggestion for you guys on Shamble Rot. Funniest ones, most cleverest ones.
I think we said in the previous one. I think you had to name. I think there were also to clarify as well. I think we actually said it, and you had to name your list with the 3 great and clean ones and the 3 great and clean ones, and the name of the list and the 3 great and cleans would be the tiebreaker. I think was what we said. Just so the people who did also put a list name don't feel
Yeah, just add those all in, and we'll read
Yeah.
those, and next video we'll announce the winner.
We shall indeed. Those says fire Will $7.77. You're going to HR after this one, Will.
I'm in a different legion, mate. People, you can't find me from a legion that I'm.
Right.
I'm in the 15th legion.
On that note, we're going to leave it for tonight because the lag is horrendous. I'm brain lagging. The heat is kicking up to an awful notch. So we're going to call it there for tonight. So thank you everyone for tuning in for tonight. No beef, Mikey. We all good. And we'll catch you all on the next episode. Ta-ta for now. We'll see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Stay rotten. Bye-bye. Give it one Nurgling shake, Will. There you go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
What's one Nurgling shake?
Singular Nurgling shake.
Is it lag shake?
Lag shake.
Buffering.
Everyone buffer.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, Chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide. Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward. Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The lion's gate, where hope was torn. Jagged eyes, blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born. Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives. Eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends. The death god song, it never ends.